S31.
No. I don't do them yet.
Okay. That one, if you dey draw the diagram, so I dey see say that one could be like separate.
Eh,
I don't know if we for add up.
separate project.
Eh.
Yeah, we separate.
Oh, okay.
We separate. So
Let's
guys,
do this one.
what are we doing this morning? We are doing this assignment. This is my intro. Okay, so we are to create a VPC with public and private subnets across 2 availability zones. Launch 1 T2 micro instances per subnet. And then in one of our public subnets, we should SSH into one instance and ping the other private instance using its IP address. So that's what we are tackling this morning. So let's go into it. Let's start business. Okay, so what do we do first? We have to create our own VPC. Let me navigate to the VPC. So VPC. I'm just searching VPC, then we start from there. So we create the VPC. Yeah. So your VPCs. Guys, if you need any clarification or anything, just let me know. Let me delete the ones that I've already created so that we can get a fresh start.
All right.
Okay. So we don't have any. Let me see. This one should be gone. Yeah. Let me see the subnets. Okay, all the subnets are also gone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your network is doing bully. So
How is talking?
I heard someone was talking. I don't know the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
The network was doing bully. Okay, so let's start with the VPC. So create VPC. Now we are going to use the wizard. So we do VPC and more so that it will create everything for us. It will create our subnets and link it to the route tables and link it to the network interface, which is the internet gateway. So now we don't need a NAT gateway because we are not going to access the internet from the private instance. So we only need internet gateway for the public instance so that it will be able to access the internet. So it means that we can access the internet from the public instance, but we should do settings so that we'll be able to access the instance in the private subnet. Okay, so that's what we are doing. So if we leave this on, it means that the name that we will give it to add it to the resources for us automatically. So that's the reason why we leave that one on. So let's say the name of our VPC is assignment VPC, right? And then the main CIDR block for the entire network. Okay, so this is where we are going to determine the main CIDR block for the network. I think we are not going to launch a lot of instances, so we should reduce this IPs. Okay, we can decide to leave it because that's the maximum we can get, but we don't need as much as the million IPs. So let's limit it to maybe 26. Okay, 26 is too small. So let me do it to maybe 22. so that we can get 1,000 IPs, and then we divide it into 4 subnets. Okay. So now we move to the next part. So here the question says we should create VPC with public and private subnets across 2 availability zones. Okay, so that's the underlining keyword. We should create it across 2 availability zones. So now, if you select here, it means that our VPC is going to be in only 1 availability zone. So that's not what the question is asking for. So we should select 2, and then when we come to customize, you realize that there are multiple availability zones that are given to us. So the first availability zone is this one. US is 2A. And the second one is what? US West 2B. Here we can decide to select the availability zone that we want. So you can see that my region here, my default region is what? Oregon. So it means that is where it's going to select the availability zone for us. So the availability zones that are there, those are the ones that will come here. Okay, so depending on your region, you may get different availability zone. So now we've made the first part of the assignment. So now it says we should create subnet in both availability zones. Okay, so now because we've selected 2 availability zones, we have to get a subnet each in all the availability zones. Okay, and if you are creating a subnet, you definitely have to create both public and private. Okay, and because the availability zones are 2, we cannot have 0 subnets. We can decide to have 0 public subnets and only private subnets. But this instance, we should create both private and public. So we will select 2 here and 2 here. It means that we are getting 2 subnets in each availability zone. So 2 public subnets in each availability zone and 2 private subnets in each availability zone. So that's the beauty of the wizard. As we've selected what we wanted, it has already created our CIDR blocks for us. We don't need to do any manual work. So you see, this is the first public subnet. We have 64 IPs in there. The second public subnet in a different availability zone. We also have 64 IPs. Same applies to the private subnets. The first one has 64, the second one has 64. So we are in business. So here, do we need a NAT gateway? No, we don't need a NAT gateway, because we only need a NAT gateway if probably we want our server in the private subnet to access the internet. But here it's not part of the requirement. So we don't need a NAT gateway, and we don't also need an S3 gateway. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Wait. No, but the question today, okay. The question is whether our S3 bucket. I don't know if we should link it to our VPC if you are doing the diagram.
Yeah, that part. Because from what I've seen, it's like a whole thing. I just did a simple, GPT search on the question that we should create. What do you call it? We should create. Yeah, this is a question. Create a custom CloudWatch metric for monitoring the number of objects in an S3 bucket. And look at the process that is given. So it means that it's a different project on it. Okay, you have to create Lambda functions and all those things.
Oh, I'm not sure we use Lambda.
Sure? Well, I don't know whether I'm the one who doesn't understand the question.
Maybe they want to Lambda. Okay, faster.
Okay, let's finish this one and then we can think about that one. Okay. Yeah. So now
let's add the S3 so that in case we are supposed to link it. I mean, you can add it, but you not add any endpoint to it.
Okay. So we should
let's put there.
Okay.
Case is part of the project. Let's share the diagram. So I will see if the S3 is there.
Yeah. So let's watch our resources. Okay, so now we have our VPC, which is assignment VPC. And then it has given us 4 subnets, 1 public, 2 publics and 2 privates. And then it has also created a route table for us and linked it already. So we have 3 route tables. So we have 2 private route tables and then 1 public route table. So this is where the S3 gateway comes in, right? So S3 gateway is linked to the private subnet and then
Subnet.
route tables, right? Yeah.
Yes, David. In case we are supposed to.
Yeah. So okay. So now let's create our VPC. So whilst it's creating, let's navigate to maybe where we can create our our security groups, right? So let me see. Okay, so here, let me see if you have any security group. We don't have any security group. Okay, so we can start creating our security group. So here we will create 2 separate security groups, right? One for the public subnet and one for the private subnet, so that we can establish connection between the 2. So let's start with the security groups. The first one will be assignments.
What?
Yes, sir.
So you are just doing for 1 public subnet and 1 private. Won't you do for the other ones? Or is it because of the assignment?
The security group. No. If we are creating a security group and then we can decide to, we will give 1 to the public subnet and 1 to the private subnet.
You see, we have 2 public subnet and private subnet. So do you get me?
No, the public.
Once you create a security group, it will apply for all the public subnets.
Yeah. If you attach it to the public subnet, it will affect all the public subnets.
What?
Yeah. So the first one is, let's create a public one first. Assignment public SG. Okay. So this what will it do for us? It will allow SSH or SSH to the private subnet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here we select the VPC that we created, and then we add an inbound rule. So why are we adding an inbound rule? Because we will definitely connect to the instances in the public subnet, right? And so this rule will allow us to connect to the public subnet. So which rule are we allowing first? How will you connect to the public instances? Through SSH, okay? So we need to create an SSH rule that will allow connection from anywhere, because if you do custom, it means that we have to specify the IP of our machine, okay? Otherwise, we will not be able to connect. So we do it from anywhere so that we can connect from our local machine to the instance in a public subnet, right? So here, this is what we need. And by default, outbound traffics are allowed. So we just leave it like that. And then we save it. Does anyone have any suggestion or any question?
Traffic. Yeah, packets going out from the this instance of.
No, that one we will allow it from the private security group. We are creating.
I'm asking if the outbound traffic means is traffic going out from the instance. Like, I'm just saying something.
Yeah, this one it's allowing all traffic. Okay, so it includes to
go to the internet.
Yeah, to go anywhere you want it to go, whether the internet or any server or whatever. As far as it's going out, it doesn't have an issue. Okay.
All right.
And now we also decided to allow all SSH from anywhere, but it's not safe because we will be SSHing from our local machine. We need to do it like this. Otherwise, you have to, if you do custom, that means that we have to specify the IP of my local machine. Do you understand?
Yeah, I get.
So that one, it will be a hassle for us. So we just leave it like this anywhere. But it's not a good practice. Probably if like Isaac always say, if we are in the work setting, they will give us a range. We will know the range of the local machines in the company. So we just specify the range of that IP address to allow SSH traffic. Okay, and that one, no one else will be able to enter the network. Okay, so let's create. Now we are done with the first security group. So let's create the next one. Okay, where do I use? Okay, let's create another one. So this is the public. So let me rename it here. Public SG. And then let's create a private one. So assignment private SG. So this is where it will allow traffic from the public SG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then we select our VPC. So the inbound rules. So now this is where we are coming to specify. First of all, we will do SSH from the public subnet. So you have to allow SSH traffic. So from where? So this one we'll do it custom because we only want to allow only from the public subnet. So any instance in the public subnet should be able to SSH into this particular instance in the private subnet, right? So this we will allow only from the public SG. Okay. And this one also by default, all the traffic going out is allowed, right? Because going out is not really an issue, but coming in is what we should be worried about. So this one, and then we add another rule. So this is where the pinging thing comes in. So the traffic that allows the pinging traffic. You see, I was asking that which is the traffic for the pinging thing, right? And I think Nadi is here. Nadi can help us with that. Nadi, he is the cybersecurity person, and the developer. So Nadi, please, can you help us?
An ICMP for?
Yeah, it's an ICMP. So it's this one, right?
Yeah.
But we should allow all ICMP traffic from our public SG, right? Good. So this is where we should allow pinging from. So aside this place, aside instances in the public SG, no other machine can be able to ping our server. Okay. So let's go ahead and create. Is everything all right? Everything's okay. So let's go ahead and create. So now let's check if our SG our VPC is created. Okay, it's created, it's available. Our subnets are all here. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So we have all the 4 subnets here. And let me see our security groups. Yeah, okay, so let me rename the other one. So this is a private SG, right? So that we'll be able to see it. So now these are our 2 security groups. And I think we are done. So let's go ahead and launch our instance. So we are launching two instances, right? So
yeah,
one in the private and then one in the public. Okay, so now let's start with the public one. Now,
you've created instance already.
no, I've not created. These are the previous one. I've terminated it, so you can see that. So we are going to launch new ones. So the first one will be our public server, and then let's leave it. Or should we choose Ubuntu or should we leave it?
We should leave it. We should leave it.
Okay.
But I have one question.
Okay.
So with the instance, you are supposed to create 4, or
no.
So I'm just asking you. You have 2 availability. So 2 availabilities only. If you have one at one instance, that availability is not there supposed to be instance there. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So you can do number of instances, you can do 2.
Oh, if
because
now you see that now here we are creating, we will select the subnet. Okay, so if you create 2, you can only select one subnet at a time. So if you want to create 2, it means that when you finish this one, you have to go and create another one and select the different subnet. Okay.
Yeah, I get you.
But
so is it because, okay, for example, for the question, this
for the question. But you can decide to create as many as you want.
But this thing in the diagram, you are supposed to indicate 2.
Yeah, just
2 instances.
Yeah. So so 2, it means that one in the public and the one in the private.
And now you are supposed to indicate 4 rather, like in the diagram. If you are drawing the architectural diagram, see, you have 2 private sub and 2 public. You have 2 availabilities also. Every public and private, they're supposed to be an instance. Do you get me?
Yeah. So it means that you have to create 2. So total 4 instances, right?
Yeah. But because we are just doing
we are just demonstrating, we can just do one.
Yeah.
Okay. That's well noted. So here, this is where we are coming to select the VPC that we'll be creating we'll be launching the instance into. So you see that we selected our VPC, the one that we created, assignment VPC. Okay. So this will allow us to select the subnet that we want to launch so you can see here, you select each subnet. Okay, you see the subnets are 4. So I don't think you can select multiple subnets here. Right?
Yeah.
So the first one, we are launching into our public one, right? So public one. And we should allow auto assign public IP, because the instance in the public subnet, it needs a public IP, because that's what we are going to use to connect to the internet. So, and here we will choose the security group that we created. So you can see what you were asking. You see that the security groups, there are only 2. So if you decide to select this one, if you select the public, it's associated with the one that we are creating. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So if you are creating another one, you can choose the subnet, the SG that you want it to associate with.
Sure, okay. Sure.
Yeah. So I think we are done here. So let's just go through once again. We name our server public server, and then we select our AMI, and then the instructions. The question says you should launch a T2 micro instance. So this one we selected, and I think by default it will select this one automatically, but you can decide to choose any instance type that you want. But per the assignment, you say we should select T2 micro. So good. So I think we are done. Is there anything we should have done that I'm missing?
We are done.
Okay. So let's launch. Hey, is it that we didn't select the keeper? We didn't select the keeper. So I've already created an assignment keeper. So I'll select that one. right?
Yeah.
So, hey, see, no time now. 30 minutes and walk around. But when it ends, I'll just relaunch the meeting so you can join with the same link. Okay. Okay. So our instance has launched successfully. So let's go and see if it's here. Okay, so this is the one. It's pending. All these ones, they are not needed. I've terminated all of them. So this is the one that we've launched right now. So this is our public server currently. It's running, but we have to wait. So let's go and launch the private one. Okay, good. So the same process. Private server. Okay. And then we leave the AMI. Then the instance type, we leave it. The key pair, select. You can decide to choose another key pair.
Right? Yeah, we are supposed to choose another one.
Okay, so
you can't use the same key pair.
Okay.
Security reasons.
Yeah, for security reasons. So I've created assignment 2 key pair. Right. I think by now everyone knows how to create the key pair. Just click here, and then it will take you to where you create the key pair. So let's edit our network settings. We have to select our VPC, and then we select the subnet. So now we are launching into what? A private subnet, right? So let's choose this one because we have 4. So we are choosing the first private subnet. Right here, we don't need a public IP because our server in the private instance, it will not be connected into the internet. So we don't need a public IP for it. So we select our security group. So here also, remember, we'll select our private security group, right? So
yeah,
we are in business. So let's check it once again. We have our server name, our AMI selected, our instance type selected, our key pair selected, our VPC, our subnet, and our security group. So we are good to go. Let's launch. Okay, so let's go and see our instances. Okay, you can go. You too. So let's go and check the instances. So now you see that we have, let me refresh. We have another one pending. So the public one has already, okay, it's running, but it's not, the status check is not yet done. So let's wait a bit for it to finish the 2 out of 2 checks. Okay, good. It's done. So you can start connecting into the public server whilst we wait for the private to finish. So let's connect. Good. So there are so many ways that you can use to connect into the server, but we are using SSH client. So we just copy this, and then let me launch my WSL.
Use the VS Code. Use VS Code.
I use VS Code then. Okay. Let me see VS Code. Okay, I'm launching VS Code. Okay, good. So we don't need this. Okay. So you see where now, what do we have to do? We have to navigate to the downloads folder, right? Because that's where our key pair is. Let me see something.
But why are you using Terraform?
Sorry?
You're using Terraform. Why?
No, I'm just I'm just doing.
It's learning, though.
In the flex view.
Hey, so the downloads Where do I find my downloads, crap? Let me see. Let me just do a simple thing. Go here.
You know why I said you should use the VS Code? Yesterday we were saying VS Code will show your download. It will show your today's.
Oh no, you can decide to go there. That's what I'm doing. I don't want to use like the command to navigate to the download. So I just open the downloads folder here. So now if I come to my terminal, you can see that my downloads is here. Can you see? And so that's what I just did. So what I said was that the VS Code is installed on my local PC. So the key pair is on my local PC, so I can access it from the downloads. So if I do ls here, you can see that let's look through and see if you see the key pair file. So look for assignment.pem. Okay, you see that it's already here. So this is what I was saying. We don't need to create another file to save it there. So that's what I was saying. But if I was doing it in my Linux operating system, this file will not be there automatically. You have to create it there. Do you understand?
That's good.
So that's what I was saying. So
but now, why as we come the first time, the downloads not come?
No, because I was in a different directory. I was working in a different directory.
Okay. So yeah. if you are at home and you did downloads, I wouldn't come.
If you are what?
If you are at your home.
No, because the path to where I was, the downloads one was not there. So I have to go back. I have to know the exact path, or I have to search and see where the downloads are. So if I go here right now, okay, and I want the path. Okay, let me show you this. And I want the path to the downloads. Okay, if I click downloads and I do this, what do you call it? It should have shown me the path to the download. Okay, and I don't want to go through that hassle. That's why I just opened the downloads folder from VS Code so that it will just locate the path for me.
Sure. That's one. I like asking questions.
Oh yeah, I understand you, Pan. I understand you. And soft life gang. Me, I don't want to go to that CD and be looking for the download. So I just opened the folder here, and my download is here. So you see, so now we can do the SSH from here. So that's what you wanted to know, right? So because we have our assignment pen there already, you don't need to create any file. So let's see if it will be able to enter. Yes. Voila, you see that we are in.
Yeah, we are in.
We are in. We did run things. So we didn't need to go and create nano dots, whatever, and bush mode, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. So now we are in the public instance. So let's see if the second the second instance is ready. By now it should be ready. Good, it's ready and waiting for us. So now we will SSH into this private instance. You can see that here we don't have a public IP, right? We only have this one. So let's try and connect to. We also use SSH client, so we just copy this. Now remember, we are already in the public instance. Okay, so now we are SSHing from the public instance. We'll test it. We'll test this. Okay, when we finish, I'll try and enter from my my local machine, my WS or the Ubuntu server, and see if you'll be able to enter. Okay.
Sure.
So you see that we are in. Are we in?
Yeah.
No. Are we in? Permission denied.
Permission denied.
Why?
Can you SSH?
SSH as
you have to change it. You have to change it.
Change what?
Okay, let's enter again.
Uh,